Hey, this is Mike from thesubstream.com. This is an episode of Watch This Instead that I'm doing at my standing desk, which I'm sitting at due to my laziness. This week I want to talk about a movie called The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, which, surprisingly, movies like this that are kind of high-concept comedies with high-caliber talent of the Steve Carrell type are fraught with danger because they can just as easily be incredibly disappointing and grating as they turn out to be, just as often as they turn out to be kind of fantastic masterpieces. The Incredible Burt Wonderstone is neither of those things. It's actually kind of relatively pleasant. It's funny. It doesn't grate. It's not hyperkinetic the way a lot of circa 2012-13 comedies can be ever since The Hangover made $1 billion. In fact, it's kind of enjoyable to sit and watch it take its time. It feels kind of old-fashioned. The thing that makes it hard to recommend is it never achieves a critical kind of joke density. Steve Carrell plays a really convincing Vegas-style magician. Steve Buscemi plays his partner that doesn't really need to even actually be in the film. His inclusions as a character is confusing because it's not necessary to the story, really, and his inclusion as an actor is confusing because he's not really a comedian, although he's good in the film. And Jim Carrey is fantastic as the kind of new generation street magician who does a bunch of dangerous stuff. But it never quite gets over beyond that sense of feeling both pleasant and kind of funny. It never becomes something amazing. That's due in large part to the fact that the film's two best elements are its supporting cast members, Jim Carrey and Alan Arkin, who appears as another magician. And they're so much better than everything else, in fact, that every time that they're not on the screen, which they're not on the screen very much, you're kind of wondering, like, okay, when's Alan Arkin going to come back and be incredibly dry and funny, or when's Jim Carrey going to come back and be kind of funny and really, really creepy? You end up not caring as much about the rest of the story because they can't hold a candle as performers, as storytellers on screen to Jim Carrey and Alan Arkin. So, given that it's a movie that's going to cost you $15, and given that it's not absolutely fantastic, and given that there's all kinds of ways to watch other really legitimately fantastic movies instead, I'm going to tell you what to watch instead of The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. And that's a film that stars my favorite part of The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, Alan Arkin. He had this really weird career where he showed up, made a couple of movies in the late 60s that got him Oscar nominations. Like, two of his first 3 or 4 movies got him Oscar nominations. His first one was in a comedy, actually, which is what you should watch instead. And then he kind of worked and did kind of piecemeal stuff. He worked, had a fine career for the next 30 years. And then at the end of his career, now the end, I don't mean to be rude, but he's older now, gets a whole bunch of Oscar nominations again because people realize how good he is and start casting him in the right roles. So instead of The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, watch his first appearance, which he was nominated for an Oscar for, in a comedy, in this movie called The Russians Are Coming, directed by Norman Jewison. It's one of the harder to find movies that I've recommended in Watch This Instead, but it's absolutely worth tracking down because it's Alan Arkin, the beginning of his career, doing exactly what Alan Arkin is the fantastic best at. Sardonic, really, really, really funny. Worth tracking down, definitely worth watching instead of The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, which is pleasant, I just never quite gets there.